The Fallout series is pretty iconic and it's rather loved by its fanbase. The next title, Fallout 76, has split fans down the middle due to its multiplayer backbone. I'm personally rather excited as I really bought into the base building in Fallout 4, and having actual people try to break in would be exciting indeed. However, some weren't too keen about the settlement mechanics. In fact, some weren't keen on Fallout 4 whatsoever. Bethesda have revealed that both Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6 are on the way, so we're set for those single-player RPG experiences for the next few years, but Fallout will roll around again soon. There was a lot of criticism for Fallout 4, so I figured we'd take a look at what Bethesda need to do better when we once again gallivant through the wasteland. I'm Rich from WhatCulture.com, and this is Fallout 5, 6 things it must do better than 4. Number 6. Make power armor more special. Fallout 4 introduced power armor in the most badass way possible. Power it up and shred a Deathclaw with a minigun. It perfectly portrayed the power armor as something hugely beneficial to use in the wasteland, and made it more interesting with the wealth of upgrades, tweaks, and crafting opportunities for just the armor itself. Then the potential grinding for parts and more specifically bits of armor was nullified. Power armor sets ended up being plentiful, sprawled across the map. My own save with my base set in the castle has its own power armor showroom since I've picked up so many suits. The benefits such as more damage you can sponge, carry weight, and other knickknacks such as jetpacks shouldn't be so readily available and obtainable, so making them more hard to come by and obtain makes it a bit more of an achievement for doing so. Number 5. Focus on the RPG aspects. One huge talking point of Fallout 4 was the sudden lack of RPG elements that fans came to love in Fallout 3 and New Vegas. More on that shortly. 4 was aiming for a much wider audience, so much so the combat and base building mechanics overshadowed what came before. This wasn't necessarily a bad thing, as the combat in Fallout 4 was vastly improved compared to its predecessors, but it did seem to lose its identity in the bid to become popular. Combat isn't the definitive mechanic the series is known for. It's a franchise in which you create a character and live through a post-apocalyptic world. 4 missed the mark on this so much some wouldn't even say it's an RPG. 5 needs to change the way these things are balanced. Keep the excellent mechanics of the combat, but allow our character, the story, and the world take center stage. Number 4. Reintroduce morality and perks. Speaking of previous games in the series, morality and perks we came to know and love in Fallout 1, 2, 3, and New Vegas were strangely absent in 4. The perk system was replaced by a simple skill tree, which many didn't take too much of a liking to. As for morality, that was pretty much entirely absent. These features played a huge role in the backbone of your wasteland character, making them something you have created. The streamlined nature of Fallout 4 lacked the ability to really project yourself into the game. Decisions could still be made that would affect the other characters around you, but it was as shallow as anything compared to what came before. Number 3. Make player decisions more impactful. Remember in Fallout 3 when you had to choose between letting an entire city perish or getting a ton of money? Yeah, pretty big stuff. Lacking these momentous decisions is a problem only Fallout 4 seems to have. Earlier titles had moments when the entire story or side missions changed around you, but 4 felt a little flat in this regard. There are some pretty hefty story moments in 4, but they feel more like semi-guided set pieces than something that really changes the narrative landscape. Usually a fork in the road leads to either good items or slightly better items. Choosing whether or not to destroy Megaton in Fallout 3 was a toughie. Either head out with mediocre gear and save a whole town, or slaughter many to get a head start in the wasteland. Fallout 5 needs to give us more of these moments. Are we an angel or a devil? Number 2. Expand the simplified dialogue system. This is where things get really strained for long-time fans. Yet another simplification to further dullify your character, the dialogue tree in Fallout 4 was hugely streamlined in comparison to what came before. Gone were the almost paragraphs of dialogue you could respond to anything with, and instead you were given 4 vague prompts and you'd have to hope that your character says what you think you're trying to get them to say. It always felt as if, irrelevant of how you'd respond to any given prompt, the conversation would always sway in one particular direction to establish a character and further the story, irrelevant of your input. For an RPG, this is the worst thing to possibly do. The fully voiced dialogue in Fallout 4 was excellent. Let's just pair it with dialogue that could go somewhere in Fallout 5. Number 1. Fix the glitches. This is a given since it's a Bethesda title. Asking for a new engine again would be about as useful as attempting to turf Rach off playing Dark Souls again. Crashes, deleted saves, floating limbs, getting stuck in the world geometry. Since I was playing on PC, I could no-clip out of a sticky situation, but imagine if you couldn't after you found a ton of great loot. You wouldn't want to reload an old save and lose everything just to get out from behind a door. I've already mentioned that this is something we just know Bethesda for, but it doesn't mean it's at all excusable. Sure, Bethesda can mock themselves at E3 and we can all laugh about it, but why not just fix things? things. With more sprawling worlds ahead of us in Fallout 76, Starfield, and The Elder Scrolls 6, surely we'd like to explore them without seeing an NPC waist deep in the floor. Come on, Bethesda, let's get a game truly finished before pushing it to launch this time. What else needs fixing from Fallout 4? Let me know in the comments section below, and why not check out some other videos? How about another Bethesda thing with Scott and Ash on The Elder Scrolls 6, or something different with 5 impossible video game difficulty spikes nobody saw coming? Thanks for watching everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.